The scene was set in the valley of Elah. The Israelites and the Philistines stood on opposing hills, ready for battle. Among the Philistine ranks stood a giant named Goliath, over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy bronze armor. Every day, for 40 days, he challenged the Israelites to send out a champion to fight him. Goliath's voice boomed across the valley, mocking the Israelites and their God. "Choose a man and let him come down to me," he would shout. The Israelites were dismayed and deeply afraid. None dared to step forward to accept the challenge of this monstrous warrior. Every day, Goliath's taunts grew louder and more humiliating. The soldiers whispered among themselves, each day growing more despondent. King Saul himself was terrified. He offered a great reward to anyone who would challenge the giant riches, his daughter's hand in marriage, and exemption from taxes for the man's family, yet no one stepped forward. The fear was palpable, spreading like a dark cloud over the camp. The Israelites needed a hero, someone who could see past the giant's size and the apparent invincibility. Little did they know their savior was about to emerge from the most unlikely of places. David was the youngest son of Jesse, a shepherd from Bethlehem. He was not a warrior, but a simple shepherd boy tending to his father's sheep. His brothers were part of Saul's army, and one day, Jesse sent David to the battlefield with supplies for him. He arrived just as Goliath was making his daily taunt. David listened, and something stirred within him. David's brothers mocked him when he spoke of taking on Goliath. But David was undeterred. To him, the giant's defiance was an insult to the living God. Word of David's boldness reached Saul, and the king summoned him. Saul looked at the young boy before him, doubt clouding his mind. How could this shepherd defeat a seasoned warrior like Goliath? But David spoke with conviction. David opted for his simple shepherd's attire, took his staff, chose 5 smooth stones, and approached Goliath. David's approach to the battlefield was marked by an unyielding belief in God's deliverance. As he stepped forward, the Israelites watched in astonishment. Goliath saw David coming and sneered. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" he roared. David responded, "You come to me with a sword, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you and take your head from you." The Israelite camp, hearing David's proclamation, felt a glimmer of hope. Goliath, enraged by David's audacity, moved to attack. David reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it. The stone struck Goliath on the forehead, and the giant fell face down to the ground. The moment David's stone struck Goliath, time seemed to stand still. The Philistine giant crashed to the ground. The Israelites stared in shock. David ran to where Goliath lay, took the giant's own sword, and cut off his head. Victory was David's, and the sight of Goliath's severed head sent a wave of disbelief through the Philistine ranks. Panic set in, and they fled. The Israelites, emboldened by David's triumph, gave chase. They pursued the Philistines, striking them down along the way and plundering their camp. David's victory was not just physical, but a spiritual one. It was a testament to the power of faith and courage. David's victory over Goliath had far-reaching effects. The immediate aftermath was a decisive win for Israel. The Philistines, seeing their champion defeated, were in disarray. The Israelites, once paralyzed by fear, were now filled with renewed hope and vigor. They chased the fleeing Philistines all the way back to their cities. The story of David and Goliath quickly became legendary. For the Israelites, it was a reminder of the power of faith and the strength that comes from trusting in God. David's courage inspired the nation to believe in something greater than themselves. David's life changed dramatically after the battle, eventually rising to become one of Israel's greatest kings. The story of David and Goliath continues to inspire people today, teaching us that with faith, even the smallest among us can achieve greatness.